final wash, the Casatta by Hotpoint WM63 Aquarius 1100 will do under my ownership. So for a special one, the lid off, and you're watching Florence Ballad A3060 and the Casatta Cassandra on film. So guys, here she is, Cassandra, the Casatta by Hotpoint WM63 Aquarius 1100. You might notice we've got the lid off. This is because as a special send-off of the machine we are actually doing a lid off wash. So we're going to be washing, I'm going to get straight to the point. We're going to be washing this throw, which is going to be the last thing for this machine. And I'm using some special vizier with some comforts. Even though I don't really like comfort because it congeals a lot. It's what Hotpoint, you know, sort of retro thing. So I'm going to be doing this on a quick colour, non-colour fast cotton 40, program E, and mainly it's focusing on being able to see how a GEC Hotpoint works while it's on, really. I don't think if anyone's really seen them with the lid off. So I'll explain some of the features of what's inside, in case you didn't know, and we'll get going. So this is a typical GEC Hotpoint layout. This design went on for 30 years, from 1970, well 31 years actually, from 1973 on the very first Hotpoint Liberators through to 2004 with the very last WD models such as the WD73, WD64, etc. So Hotpoint have always been famously known for mounting their motors on the top. I believe they were the only manufacturer that did this. Creeder and Electra did them too, but that's because they were all made by Hotpoint. So you have your iconic GEC motor for, you know, the classic sounds. This model, white label, is the 1200 one, but this also was fitted to models WM62, 63, 64 and 65, so it fits from the 1000 models up to the 1200s. If I take the connector off, this has the 7-pin models. So the 7th pin allows the motor to what we call field tap, which allows the last 30 seconds of high speed. I'm not too sure if I'm right on this. Any GEC Hotpoint experts, please correct me on this. Can this motor also produce 1400 RPM, or was that a totally different green label or something? I'm not too sure, but I've been told that the 7th pin model can also be a 1400 one. You've got your carbon brushes here. These will actually need replacing. And concrete weight on top. This one differentiated between the 9.5s and the WMs. The mounting points are slightly different. And of course, if I move the tub, the classic Hotpoint spring sound. So for those who think that the machine's springs need replacing, no, there's nothing wrong with the springs on these. This is just the sound that these Hotpoint ones make. You might also notice this has got the green tub front plate. This had one similar to the tub colour with a chrome ring around it before I replaced it. It's your soap drawer and your solenoids. The washer dryers had a triple waste solenoid, I think, for the cold one. Two that went to the drawer and one that went to the condenser. Yeah, that's right, yeah. So you got your cold one here and your hot one here. Hot one goes straight to the main wash compartment. Cold has two split ones. One goes to the softener compartment, conditioner, and the other goes to the pre-wash. There is actually another one here which might have been to connect to here, but that might be for the washer dryers, that one, I think. Perhaps, I don't know. But here and here is the steam vents, which lets off all the steam from the machine when it's doing a hot wash. There's your mains filter, and if you see there, that's where you store the plug. This is where the plug comes in and your earthing points. Now here is the front of the machine with the timer. This is an AKO timer, I think timer 513. So, oh look, 24th of August 1999, which is quite funny. Oh, that's because this has had a replacement timer to it, yeah. I put a new timer in. Oh, retrofitted because it had a different one. If we look down there, this little bit here, watch this cable tie, that nearly hurt me. This little bit here is where the resistor is fitted to make this an 1100 model, so I pulled that off and it's now 1200. There's your plastic outer tub and your belt. If I spin the pulley round, you'll see something. Look at that. The belt's actually got the Hotpoint badge on it. There's your little inspection plate. This was a later cabinet used on the late 95s and onto the WMs before they had the big panel that you could remove. The pump is situated on the left hand side. On the early 95s it was on that side. I don't know how well you can see down there. That there is one of two suspension legs. Nope, not shock absorbers. They are not the same thing for those who think that. These machines don't actually have shock absorbers. The first Hotpoints to use shock absorbers were actually the WMAs. Because these are just suspension legs which hold the tub off the chassis, but they don't actually dampen out any vibration or movement. That's why these, well, I mean, they provide a little bit, but not really. So that's why these tubs bounce around a lot. And this is your electromechanical timer, electromechanical. So you've got a timer fitted onto a PCB. The two cut out holes here are actually for where the, so there and there are where the dryer and variable spin or variable temperature dials would go through depending on the model. So variable spin and temperature for the WM81, 83 and the WM65, and the washer dryer timers for WD61 to 64. And that's pretty much all you need to see inside. The rest of it, you know everything about what's inside. So without further ado, oh yeah, and there's the hot and cold fill pipes there, and the original WM hose. You've also got some information here, rating sticker, 2.4 kilowatt heater, and the drainage, oh no, what's that, transit bracket removal, because up top here, you'd have had a transit bracket fitted. You can see with the outliners that goes across here. We actually had one for the WM51, but I don't know what happened to it. Alright, without further ado then guys, I will get loading the machine and we can go. So, I'm going to load up the machine with the throw. So we're going to focus more on the interior of the machine here rather than the drum. So I was going to add the detergent and everything as normal. So I've got some Vizir which has been solidified from sitting on the top shelf in the cold. Oops, sorry guys. I'm not going to put too much in. You actually meant to only get 4 washes out of this, but that's what happens when it's in an area cupboard. Well, food storage cupboard actually. Limescale tablet. Hopefully where this is going, she won't need that anymore. I don't normally like using comfort, as I said, but it's something that Hotpoint use, just doing it for retro reasons. So we're going to set the timer, so you can hear it as I turn. Nice clunky sound, enable super rinse, and without further ado we shall go. I've got to switch the machine off because I've actually switched it off so I can do the interior shot. So the machine is mixed filling through the hot and cold. I'm just going to put a reminder about this guys. Do not go attempting this at home if you do not know what you're doing. There's a reason why they always tell you before you do any work on appliances or take any lids off or etc. you must isolate the machine off the power, because all of this stuff becomes live. If I was to put my hand in and out I probably would get quite a nasty electric shock, which I could even get electrocuted. So the machine's taking in the hot and cold through the drawer, and here we go. nice sound, eh? So you might be able to see in there that there's a little bit of arcing from the brushes. That's totally fine because it's just the brushes contacting the commutator on the motor. If it was flashing and sparking really loudly though, that would mean the brushes are wearing out. Like to see that? See there's a bit of sparking in there? That's totally fine. The brushes are needing replacing soon, but they're not worn down to the bone yet. Oh yeah, on this part of the motor there's a tensioning bracket. So you lift it this way to tension the belt. I think modern machines now are automatically tensioned, so there's no adjusting. Just as we're tumbling, that's what's going on. See how much the drum moves about. I'll do a nice little send off for her. What I'll do is I'll shift the machine that way so we get a bit of a better view. I will advise you, if you're wearing headphones, when the machine does spin, particularly when we're ramping up to a high speed, please be very careful, because I'm not joking, the motors on these are extremely loud. The lid off there twice as loud. So on the heating stage now, listen out, you might hear the heater engaging. There you go. I don't hear that. First intermediate spin, so you'll be able to see what's going on there, and mainly the top moving and how much it moves about when spinning the motor. Hopefully this doesn't fall up and we actually do get some proper spins. So apologies for if the lighting's not very good here. We're mainly focusing on what's at the top of the machine. Soft lock. You see how it wobbles about the top. It's quite entertaining to see that actually. Always get sub-slots for surgeon. This is on the first rinse now, doing the slow tumbles and refilling. So this just energises the cold only. It's quite impossible to see in there. There is actually water gushing through these. That's freezing cold. It's a very absorbent load, so we do see the water coming in through the side, because that's coming through that hose there. Very nice clicking, these timers, mate, the AKO timers. They're also using the 9.5s as well. The variable spin models from where the RPM is, they would have had a wire going across to it. Another fill. So second intermediate spin now. The cotton's the 40-degree cycle is actually quite short, to be honest. See this balances. I don't think it is. I'm very surprised that does spin that. See how much the top wheel's about. Around balance, but a second rinse with the fast tumbles. Nice on the belt, right on the belt going around. Concrete weight, that's held together solidly, that is. Been quite stormy outside actually. So we're on the third intermediate spin. You can see how we run. This is the fast one, of course, as you know. We'll get to see a bit more motor action here. Move from the side just to show everything. That won't spin that. Well, we're determined though. Let's move this over here. I'll be very amazed if that actually can spin that. Aquarius, isn't she? So on the third rinse, which is the super rinse level, and that's gone to full capacity, that one has. You might notice now the top's sagged down a lot more. There's a lot more weight on the suspension now. So on the fourth and final speed, it's been another fast one. Let's see how the balancing goes on this. Green, you know? You see the top's raised slightly enough with it. Camera to the line. Very unbalanced, that does. Camera's about to die there. We're waiting for the grand finale, which is the final spin. So for the final rinse, we engage the conditioner valve, which goes through this one here. The water comes through here at slightly lower pressure because it has to fill through the chamber and then go through the siphon tube. Still doing the, this is the super rinse level one with these sort of saturation tumbles. Well, I can smell that comfort really well here, probably because it's coming out of the vent or so at the back. I said, if you're ever around a washing machine when it's lid off and it's plugged in at the mains, never go sticking your hands in the top. I know what I'm touching here. I'm not touching any of the wires, I'm touching just the plastic. Even though the wires are insulated, don't ever be 100% certain and assume that they are all safe. Especially on an older machine, I mean not about this much, but maybe like a Hotpoint 9.5 or something, which is, you know, over 30 years old. Some of the wiring insulation could have deteriorated. You never know. Get your earphones at the ready. Oh, sorry, earplugs. Final spin. This is where this thing turns from a Casatta to Concorde, basically. I wouldn't say it sounds like Concorde, but more like a Boeing 767. Now, once we get the lid off, look, she's acting up for her final appearance. Pretty sure that's going to spin that thing. Yes, I don't see less inertia. There are the springs. Oh, God. Oh, calm down, Cassandra. It's whipping the water around. Oh, I didn't make this up on level. Makes the bulk of the water kicks off. Final ramp up. It's not sticking to the side properly though. Cassandra, this will be pretty much our last wash. With the lid off, there's a lot less stability in the cabinet as well. bloody loud that is. I checked the temperature of the motor. Look at that. 103 degrees the motor gets to. The armature's 160, or the commutator's 116. Now you know why the 1400 models could only do it for 30 seconds. There we go. I'll cut off the anti-crease, we don't want to see that. Hope you guys can still hear after that. Yep. There we go, guys. That was the Casatta Hotpoint WM63 Aquarius 1100, doing a full 40-degree cotton wash with the lid off. So you guys get to see how a GEC Hotpoint operates and sounds. I hope you enjoyed that, and I want to say thank you to all the support and love and like fan base pretty much that this machine has had. I didn't think that a standard Hotpoint WM Vogue model would have received so much love, but of course she is special because she's from the Casatta range in pistachio green from May 1998. This was introduced September 97, I believe the Casatta range was introduced. But it's been a pleasure having her, apart from my Mila, which is of course not actually really my machine. She is the most filmed machine on my channel. I haven't done more videos of her than any other machine in my collection, probably closely followed by the 9530 and then the A3060, which the A3060 is actually coming back into play tonight. Well, like literally, this evening. And we'll just do that. So thank you very much to everyone, and yes, I'm sorry to those who if I broke your heart about this machine going. I knew that a lot of people would be upset, but she's going to a good home, of course. We all know. And I think that's really about it. I could end up making this a 2-hour-long video talking about the Casatta, but you guys know the story. This machine I found in South London, in Chislehurst, which I think is near Kent. Kai might probably know about where that is. Chislehurst. Going towards South London, or Croydon I think, and yeah, basically this machine came from there, £30, didn't pay much. She had an FHP motor when I got her, as well as a replacement top front, so don't understand why, probably was under the Hotpoint care plan. One time I did take the drum out of this machine to inspect a knocking sound, nothing out of the ordinary, but the outer tub is spotless, not a speck of limescale, and neither does the spider have that on there, so this machine is, despite coming from London, has actually been very well looked after, and probably all the boil washers I've done here. There is currently a matching dryer to this machine on Marketplace, so, you know, maybe her new owner will probably consider that. I don't know. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Hope you all enjoyed that, and please don't forget to stay safe, stay home, unless you need to all really go out, and don't forget to keep it supreme and go with the flow.